It's time for
Wheel of Testimony!
Welcome, friends. We have been really excited to do this episode, and it might be hard to actually read it on the screen wherever you're watching.
No worries, we can read.
No worries, we can read for you, and we shall read for you. And today we are working on sharing our testimonies with you in a new way, because I feel like the Lord is always doing new things with testimonies. And in this particular case, I wanted to share what a testimony is, because I feel like a lot of our friends who are Catholic are like, what on earth is a testimony? And we're like, well, it's really just a story of God's mercy and His work and His providence in your life. Mm-hmm. That's a testimony. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people have like big testimonies about how they came to Jesus.
Yeah.
And those are really huge pieces, but there's also so many smaller pieces, smaller ways that He is working in your space.
You have lots of little testimonies in your big testimony.
Exactly. And so what you hear usually at conferences, at retreats, on YouTube, whatever, are the big things, and that's what we've shared previously in our testimony episodes. So this time, we bought a little wheel. It's so cute. And we're going to spin it.
That's a practice so you can see.
Yes, let's practice so you can see. So in this case, it landed on parents. And so now we have, whoever spins the wheel has to share a testimony off the cuff about their parents that the Lord brings to mind, about how He renewed our minds and changed our hearts towards our parents, or those kinds of things. So we're really excited because we're kind of getting put on the spot here, and it's going to be so
We've
good.
had no practice, no conversation.
No, we came up with these categories.
We literally put these on here, well, I guess because we got so super distracted.
A few hours
It's
ago.
been a few hours,
yeah,
but we haven't even thought about it since we did it. So.
No, absolutely not. We were thinking about marketing, actually. Since then.
Yeah.
So this is going to be really fun.
Shameless plug.
Oh, yes, again.
We still have our tumblers.
Of course.
We're going to be writing these, please. These are going to help us get to the Midwest Catholic Family Conference.
In August is when we allegedly go.
Yes, the first weekend. Yes. So we have all summer to get these in your hands and get us.
Yes. And it helps us shamelessly share the podcast and what we're doing over at Holy Surrender.
Because everybody's going to go, oh my gosh, where did you get that amazing tumbler? And you can say, oh, from Holy Surrender.
Yes, go get one yourself. Guys, they're so relatable. Overtired,
they really are.
Over-caffeinated, still surrendering. Take a chill pill and trust.
We've got one serious
Unhinged.
One serious one. It's very pretty. It's got roses. It's got a quote from St. Therese of Lisieux. So
yes, we do have our serious moments. So
yes, we
did, of course, include that as well. So, Haley, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Oh, you can go first.
I can go first? Okay. Wheel of Testimony!
Oh, my goodness.
The category is
ex-boyfriends. I was so hoping you'd get this one.
Okay. So, it's funny, because this one kind of came up for me earlier. I was like, oh gosh. Yikes. So, okay. Okay, so the person I dated before I reconnected with my husband and we started dating, I really thought I was going to marry him. And I've said that before, but I don't think I've ever told the story of why. So, I don't remember. I think I stumbled across this book, and I'm trying to remember what it's called. I know it's by Katie Hartfield, but what she talks about is writing letters to your future husband. And specifically to help you remain strong in purity and in virtue and in prayer, so that whatever transformation your future spouse needs to go through, they are getting that grace poured out on them from you as a future spouse. And so I had read this book, and if I remember the title of it, or I'll look it up, I'll leave the link below, because it is a really beautiful book. And I started writing letters to my future husband. And it was very releasing for those times. I had a lot of emotional outbursts and like high anxiety and stress and depression and overthinking. I went through a lot of things as a high schooler, And if I'm honest, the enemy had a foothold in my life at that point. Like, I hated going to confession, and I was really stuck in my pride, and I was definitely performing and acting like I was a good Catholic Christian, but my actions on the other end weren't necessarily reflecting that. Like, I was quick to use people or tear people down. There were lots of things that the Lord refined in me eventually, but this guy that I ended up dating, we had dated once before for 2-ish months as sophomores, and then we broke up, and I definitely, like, used him essentially to fill an empty space.
Yeah.
And that was something that I think we had talked about, because our friendship rekindled itself eventually, and we were always picking on each other and stuff like that. And then I was really praying about whether or not we should date, because I felt like it wasn't worth it to date again if we weren't going to end up married.
Mm-hmm.
And he felt kind of the same way. And I'd had some sort of emotional duress or whatever, and written a note to my future husband in my journal that said, and when I'm stressed, if you would just take me dancing or dance with me in the living room, that will bring down my stress and help me, like, resolve whatever tensions in my body. I don't remember exactly how I wrote it, but I remember writing that. And he came over with some of our other group, and we were hanging out here at my parents' house. And I remember the question got posed, but what would you do if I was stressed? And that was his exact answer. I'd take you dancing. But what it was caveated with was some other red flags that I didn't really pay attention to, and I wasn't strong enough in my discernment to know the difference. So, like, he came from a lot of wounds and a lot of trauma, and a lot of those got projected into our relationship. Things even about, like, my physical appearance, and he would also take me dancing if I was starting to get a little overweight. Like, that would be the first place to fix the problem. And I'm like, I'm sure maybe there was some okay intention there, but it didn't come out right. I don't know. I want to give him a benefit of the doubt there, and I don't want to villainize him, because that's not the point of the testimony. But the point of the testimony was that was the thing that made me choose to date him again. And that was the thing that I clung to when our relationship turned completely toxic and completely unhealthy. And I realized that there is no one moment that cements your relationship forever. That was a lie I was living in, and it's a cultural lie, I think. You don't just have the one because they're perfect or they're the most compatible. Relationships are a consistent choice to do your best, and specifically to will the good of the other and die to yourself. And that was something we didn't have. And what I was too prideful to realize was that he didn't want that relationship anymore. He wanted freedom from it, but he didn't think that he could successfully do that, effectively successfully get away, because I had it locked in my own head that this is it. I'm not going to fail again, so we're going to have this, like, it's going to last forever. And so when it finally hit a point that all the grace of all the prayers that people were praying stacked up against me, and that door flooded open and I let Jesus in, he gave me the strength to let him go and to cut it off. And I think there was a lot of freedom for both of us in that, because while I went into a very dark time after that, it was out of that came, there's a lot of death, but out of that came a resurrection of who I was called to be, and specifically the person that God wanted me to be with. And then I got to learn after that how all of my prayers for my future husband, to kind of bring this full circle, really paid off. Because there were things that my now husband was preserved from. Experiences he never had to go through. Wounds that he never encountered, that even I had. And I was astounded and grateful, and I think it also gave him the grace to be steadfast in our relationship, because I've asked him before. There was one day I busted into his apartment and I was like, what if I want to get bigger gauges? At this point I had black hair, I had gauges, I had rainbow dyed hair underneath. The hair was cool. I will say that forever. The hair was so cool. And I was like, what if I want bigger gauges? What if I want to keep dyeing my hair crazy colors? What if I want more piercings? What if I want full sleeve tattoos? Like, I picked everything. And keeping in mind, I've known my husband since high school. We argued about these things in high school. So I knew in a way they were pain points. He didn't like that I dyed my hair in high school. He didn't like that I wanted to get a tattoo in high school. He didn't like any of these things. And I knew that. So I tried to look at him and go, well, what if I want to do all these things? And to this day, he doesn't really know why. He just shrugged at me and he said, okay. And now that I'm telling the story, it's kind of all coming together in that way too. And then when I asked him about it recently, he told me, he goes, I don't know. I just knew that if you came back home to your faith, to the place that you belong, our hometown, that it would resolve itself. He's like, I just knew. And I was like, whoa, what an epic way. So, yeah, the enemy used a line from a prayer to my future husband to create a stronghold in my life. And then God, when I allowed him to, destroyed it and built up something better. And I still ended up writing a few. This didn't turn me off from writing letters to my future husband.
Yeah.
I did end up writing a few while Ethan and I were dating and giving him a few. It wasn't as many as I had pictured in my head. I was like, I'm going to have books for this man. He'll never get through them all. No, the Lord knew exactly what was needed. And, yeah.
I wrote letters to Braden. Not like I gave them to him and when we were dating, and he still has every single one.
I think Ethan also has all of them too. But
Very sweet.
that is my ex-boyfriend testimony.
Story.
All right, Haley, spin that wheel.
Oh,
that was so
close.
She almost got ex-boyfriends also, but Haley is going to tell us a testimony from high school.
High school, geez, high school is rough. Oh, let's see. I blocked a lot of high school out of my memory. So
Understandable.
I'm trying to
Really understandable, truly.
I've got one. Okay, so when I was in high school, I was in choir. And
same.
So when I, as a freshman at Bishop Carroll, you start in, I think it's Caroliers is the name of the freshman choir.
Okay.
And, because Carol Years.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, cute, right?
Super cute. Yeah.
Anyway.
Love it.
So, and that was fun, and I really enjoyed it. But you had to, if you wanted to be in one of the, what is viewed as, now I don't think it's supposed to be viewed as one of the better choirs, but it is. It's one of the better choirs. You have to audition.
Yes.
And
we
I
had the
was-
same thing.
Yeah, I was terrified to audition, and my confidence was shot, by my life. Like, I mean, you've all heard my testimony. If you haven't, go back and listen to it because that'll make sense. But I had no confidence in myself. I didn't think I could do it. I assumed I was a failure and I sucked at everything. And I just kind of spoke that over myself. And I had a friend in high school who would not let me not audition. I had to audition, and so I bombed it on purpose because I was like, I'm not going to be told that I'm not good enough. I'm not going to be told that I'm a failure. And so I literally flunked the audition intentionally, and I have no idea now if I guess I kind of do. I'll explain in a minute. But I failed and flunked the audition, and I was told, sure enough, you're not good enough, and it was fine with me because I made myself bad, and it was intentional that I flunked, that I did not get accepted to this better choir. And so I went sophomore year, I was in not the freshman choir, but not the better choir. I don't remember
Mhm.
what the name was.
Is it Madrigals?
No, Madrigals was top tier.
Madrigals was top tier, and then there's
Mhm.
something.
Chanterelles was the women's top tier.
Okay.
And then concert choir. That was it. So I was in concert choir, which just sounds lame because they aren't given a cool name.
Our
Um,
concert choir was Expressions.
Oh, see, if they had a cool name, it might be fine. But they also, like, concert choir. So, okay, when everybody wore the choir robes,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that was annoying. But everybody had one. But if you were in madrigals, you wore dresses and the guys wore suits.
Oh yeah, that was for us.
Uh-huh.
We didn't we had Expressions was the general choir,
Mm-hmm.
and then Bel Canto was the girls show choir,
Hmm.
and then Blue Notes was the mixed show choir.
Nice.
And then I think my sophomore year they added a little a small men's ensemble
Fun.
that they called Blue Man Crew
I like that.
because our colors were blue and white. So
So the madrigals wore suits and dresses. Chanterelles wore all dresses, and concert choir had to stick in their robes. So you knew they sucked. Just call it like it is, okay?
can't wait to see where the Lord brings this one.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was fun. He blessed my experience there. I had a good time with the kids that were in my choir group, and they were beautiful people. It was the nice thing about being in concert choir was there really wasn't a lot of pressure,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, like, we all knew we're there either because you didn't audition, you just wanted to do choir, or because you didn't get accepted into the other groups.
Mm-hmm.
So it is what it is. I don't need to explain
It
any
is what it
further.
Yes,
But
right.
that took the pressure off because we didn't have this expectation to perform well every time,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that made it more fun.
That's funny because I thrived off the expectation.
Oh, see, I suck at that.
Perform well.
Like I don't put that pressure on me. I quit golf because of the competition.
Interesting.
I was the best golfer at. There was one. You get two testimonies in one. I played golf growing up, and then I went to play golf in high school freshman year, and I was told you can't be on varsity because that's not fair to the seniors who've been here for 4 years. And I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. So I was JV all season. One of the meets, I outperformed everybody. Literally had the lowest score there. And that was a serious, I had to be knocked down a few pegs after that. I felt real good. I still, there probably is some more forgiveness that needs to happen of my coach because I was very bitter about that for a long time. Like, see, you should have made me varsity. But whatever. Anyway, back to choir. So I had a good time in choir, and then I skipped choir my junior year, which later on in the year I was kind of bummed. I was like,
Mhm.
I enjoyed choir. I don't know why I didn't do it. And I just kind of sulked that year. But my choir teacher let me be the behind-the-scenes coordinator for our big show choir every year. So that was pretty cool because I got to do something that I never would have done otherwise.
Yeah.
So got to basically direct the whole thing from backstage.
Which is very you.
Yeah, it was super fun. So that was a neat experience. And then senior year, I decided, okay, I'm going to go ahead and for real audition. Like, here I go. Scared the crap out of me. I was terrified. And terrified of performing for somebody, but also because I am not a good choir kid, okay? I don't read music. I listen and try to match. Like, I can copy really well. I do not read music, and that I felt like was going to be the breaking point for me. Like,
Also same.
yeah. So I
can-
auditioned. I actually tried this time, and I remember my friends going, "Come on, let's go see if we got in." You know, they post the list for the world to see.
Yes, and it's so dramatic.
God in heaven.
Huge
I was
moment.
like, it's like my name's not going to be on there, or it's going to be on the. And I don't remember if they posted all of the choirs for the next year or just the two. I don't know. I don't remember. But I was Oh, I was terrified that my list was not going to be or my name was not going to be on the list. And I actually did not go look at the list for a while. And my friend dragged me over there, and she was like, "No, you need to go see. You need to go see." And I made it into Chance. I made it into Chanterelles, and so that was like really nice that I didn't get rejected.
Interesting.
But I didn't get to do it. I did not get to sing in. Well, actually, okay. So I did sing in choir, but I chose because I missed choir junior year. I wanted to be in choir again, and I went into concert choir. I chose to go to concert choir instead of no choir, because I also got accepted into the teaching academy at Bishop Carroll, and I, at the time, thought I was going to be a teacher. So I was like, well, this is the responsible choice. This is better for my future. Get a head start in education and all that. And I'm like, man, I should have done Chance, guys. I got nothing now.
Got nothing now.
I'm not using any of this. I could have just had fun.
I could have just had fun. So you feel like the Lord kind of eventually broke down those walls for you?
He did. And a lot of it
helped you realize it wasn't your identity to be in.
What's funny is that year that I was off of choir, my junior year, is the year that I admitted that I was hurt as a child. So that year off from choir was where I mean, that's when I told my mom what happened to me as a kid. And then I started sharing more. I did not tell everybody everything, right? I'm much more open with my testimony now than I was back then, but that's where it started. I went to confession at a tech retreat, and I talked to, it was funny because he's now my pastor, I talked to Father Jared about this is what happened to me. And then I asked him to help me tell my mom.
Wow.
And
that's so powerful. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But then it's amazing that released you in different places.
Yeah.
Yes.
In ways that I would not have expected, because I then had the confidence in myself to go and do something that I was scared to do before.
Wow. That is so cool. I love that.
Yeah.
Yes. Man.
Okay.
This is so fun to spend.
Okay.
I don't know that.
I'm sorry.
It is getting toasty in here for sure. I
Sharing
will say,
testimony is spicy.
before we do anything else, I will say everyone can testify that your curb appeal matters. And we know someone, a good friend of ours, who does this, who takes care of up-leveling your curb appeal by power washing commercial and residential properties, your driveways, your house, the whole thing. Cleaning windows, doing gutters, landscaping, and minor repairs. If you want to call Michael over at Freshview LLC, he is happy to come help you just get ready for the next season or clean your house that might not have been cleaned for years. He's really good at it, and he has a heart for service.
It's good stuff.
It is good stuff.
It's getting to be summer. If you're too hot, you don't want to do it.
Yes,
Make Michael do it.
100%. Make Michael. If you don't want to do it, make Michael do it.
He's
There's
gonna
a new
be-
tagline for him.
He's going to be my brother-in-law, so that's the sister coming out.
That's so funny. I've known him since high school. He's a great guy, and he does good work.
Good.
So we are happy to support his small business around here and do that.
He runs specials on Facebook, so follow him on
Yes,
Facebook.
follow him on Facebook over at Freshview LLC, and we'll leave that link in the description. Man, I think that last time we forgot to do a CTA about our magazine.
Oh no, we sure
no,
did.
Indeed. And it's okay. It's fine. The Lord really led that episode about prayer and the imagination.
Yeah, it
You
was
should
a
go back
really
and
good
listen to it.
episode.
It was a great episode. But we just want to say before we go here, because we probably don't have time for us to spin the wheel again. If you liked us doing the wheel testimony, tell us, because we have a lot of fun spinning this thing. Or if you want to come on the podcast and spin the wheel.
You spin the wheel.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it'd be
your
so fun.
testimonies.
We want to hear your testimonies. So tell us if you want to be on the podcast for more Wheel of Testimony episodes. So that would be really cool. Seriously, don't be ashamed to ask. We would love it. We just love it. So we do, our April magazine is out, and I'm trying to remember if I think this episode is out in May. Like the very first week of May is when this episode is.
So if those of you that have subscribed, you should have your magazines or be getting them any day.
Yes. And this, oh my goodness, we got so many incredible things in this magazine.
I almost love this one more than the first one.
It's
It's really hard to decide.
We have some beautiful, hard-hitting articles. Let Motherhood Mold You by our friend Amanda.
So good.
So good.
She
She's a
knocked that
first-time
one out of the
mom.
park. It was so good.
Yeah, she's a first-time mom. We have a testimony from one of our local families, the Sponsel family. Caitlin is a friend of mine. I see her often at Mom's Group, and they have this stunning grotto at their house. And
Her
there's
testimony of this grotto made me
cry.
I got a little teary. It was so good.
Oh, they were kind enough to share
Such
their
a
testimony.
Beautiful thing.
Beautiful story of how God has worked in their life and how He provided for this grotto. So epic.
Yeah.
We have stuff on Father's Day, America. We have some fun salad recipes coming out, and toddler charcuterie.
Dad jokes.
Dad jokes. I laughed so hard the first time I read that page.
She called me and she was like, "What is this?"
She was like, I can't, I'm crying. It was so funny. And we did an interview with one of our local priests about leading the flock and what
Yes.
it's like to be a shepherd.
If you know Father Lebens,
You'll want to read it.
He
Such
did the
hard-hitting
interview with us.
answers.
I
They were
know.
so good. And we have
He's
more
so
articles on things like cash budgeting for your family. 9 Steps to Financial Freedom. My best friend Jessica wrote that. That one's really good. My brother came back with a hard-hitting piece on the Eucharist and the true presence. So there's a lot going on, okay? Because May is the month of Mary, and it's Mother's Day. June is the month of the Sacred Heart, and it's Father's Day, and then July is, July.
July is
Merca. So,
Merca.
So, all that to say, it's a really good episode. Haha, I'm so trained. It's a really good issue, and we had a lot of fun putting it together.
Yeah.
So, if you've been looking for a resource that has a little bit of everything for everyone, this is a place
This
to be.
is it.
Yes. And,
And I'd like to just note, like, the magazine has thoughtful articles, so don't feel like you have to read it at home or whatever. Take it to adoration.
yes.
There's a lot
Yes.
of, we have prayer opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff wrote a really great article on, he wrote 2, anger and marriage this time. So definitely go check all that out. Sit with Jesus on a lot of this, because
Most
that's
of the
what
thoughtful
this is
articles
for.
are meant to do that, is for
Right.
you to take to prayer and engage with the Lord to see what He's doing in your life. And it's also a place for you to catch up with local Christian businesses,
Yeah.
a lot of which we mention on this podcast, but also so you can see what they're doing and support their ministry. And honestly, guys, if you love it, share it. Help us
Please
grow. Because we just want to create a big community and share God's love with others, and we feel like He's calling us to do that through this magazine. So, check out the magazine, grab a tumbler if you haven't yet and you want one, or if you know somebody who will want one, take time to share it. You can share this episode if you don't want to shamelessly pitch Reggie and just be like, listen to this episode. Share. That also helps us build our community as well. And, oh goodness, I can't think of anything else.
That's it.
Yep. Thanks
all we
for
got.
coming to the Wheel of Testimony. This is the first time we did it, and it's been so
Let's
good.
bring it back.
Yes.
It's so good.
We're like kids in a candy store.
Yeah.
Yes, seriously. Let us know. Email us, DM us if you know us personally, text us if you want to come spin the wheel and be on the podcast. Do-do-do. Do-do-do. All right. With that, we will catch you next time.